Hello everyone, in this video we're going to talk about rate of change. First we'll define what rate of change is, and then we'll look at it two different ways, from a table perspective and then a graphical perspective. So what exactly is rate of change? Rate of change allows you to see the relationship between two quantities that are changing. If one quantity depends on the other, then the following is true. The rate of change is going to be equal to the change in the dependent variable divided by the change in the independent variable. Earlier we established what the independent and dependent variable were. Our dependent variable is y, and independent is x. Because remember, y depends on x. What we're going to do is we're going to find a difference between two values, change in two different amounts for our dependent variable, and then those matching independent x values. We'll take the difference in y and the difference in x, divide them, and then we'll get a value. So we can also look at this as vertical change over horizontal change. Let's take a look at our table. As the days go up, the rental charge is going up. For a rate of change, sometimes both values may go up. As one goes up, another one may go down. That can happen. It doesn't happen the most, but it can happen. If both values are going up, we have a line that goes up like this. And this is just a rough sketch of an example. This rate of change is really steep. Like that line is pretty steep, so a rate of change kind of like this could be really high versus one that's, say, like a little bit more flat. That one would not have a rate of change that is as high as this one. It also depends on the quantities that we're dealing with too. Now, I also mentioned that rate of change can also go down, and that same thing applies. Sometimes they may not be flat, sometimes they might be a little bit more, or not as steep. Sometimes they may be a little flat, but they can also be kind of steep. These are just visual examples as to what rate of change can look like. So here, it does not matter if I can find the difference in any two different days. I'm going to get the same value each and every time I do a calculation. For instance, if I found the change from day 5 to day 2, it'd be the same as the change from day 4 to day 3. Just a rough sketch example. So let's go ahead and find the difference. Let's find the rate of change from day 4 to day 1. Change in y, vertical change, over the change in x, horizontal change. So we start from here. We'll do 105, that value, minus 60. And then we will divide that by the respective corresponding day values, which would be 4 and 1. When we calculate this, that would be 45 over 3, and that gives me 15. Had I chosen any two other random numbers here, I still would have gotten 15. So if I chose day 5 and day 3, I would have gotten the same thing. I would have gotten 15 as an answer. There's a special name for this, but we'll talk about that in another video. Let's see how we can find rate of change graphically, given a graph much like this one here. So let's say we're driving, and as the time goes on, the longer we're driving much further distance. After 1 hour, we've driven 50 miles. After 2 hours, 100 miles, and so forth and so on. Same idea. It does not matter if we find the rate of change from 5 to 3 or from 4 to 3 or from 3 to 1. That ratio will be the same. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's find the rate of change from day 5 to day 2, or from the 5th hour to the 2nd hour. So at 5, we're at 250, and at the 2nd hour, we're at 100. Vertical change over horizontal change. So those respective y values, that would be 250 minus 100. And then those respective x values, 5 minus 2. This gives me 150 over 3, and that gives me 50. So this is what rate of change is. It's that quantity, remember, the change in y over the change in x. Rate of change allows you to see that relationship between those two quantities, whether it's time and distance, or in the last example, we had a charge and the number of days. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.